Hey there everyone, KNWX here, and I'm here to talk about the incoming severe weather risk we have for tomorrow, and the threat for maybe even discrete supercells, a squall line, and damaging wind speeds, and large hail, maybe even up to 2 inches. We do have a tornado threat and a wind threat included in that as well, so let's get straight into this here. So as you saw from that radar loop, we had quite the squall line here, but we still don't know exactly how many discrete cells are going to be up ahead of this thing because each mile run is different. If I go to the 18Z, you're going to see something much more different, and that is barely any activity. And that had been stopped by the supercells in the Kalamazoo area. See? But that is not a trend. But if I go to the 12Z, which I'm guessing will probably be different again, each run again, very different than the other. See? Supercells rolling through Michigan, as you can see there. So there's I'm seeing a lot more outcomes with supercells and a squall line going through Michigan in the afternoon. The 18Z was that one time I was like, what the heck is going on here? But as you can see, this model run here has a line of maybe even embedded supercells across here and developing discrete cells possibly developing along these areas. Let's bring up the dew point here. So this is the latest run of the HER. Doesn't go fully out, but as you can see, it's kind of dry over here, but we do, as you can see, if I keep on playing it, it's gonna keep on. It's trailing north. The dew points are trailing north because if I bring up a sounding here, yeah, near 3,000 Cape. And there is definitely the potential for tornadoes tomorrow. So let's talk about that. So within any discrete cells that decide to develop, which discrete cells are cells that form on their own with forced lift and enough, they're basically alone out there. They just pop up. They could be popcorn cells, anything. But what I think we might see, so here's what I'm going to pull out Radar Omega and kind of map out what I'm thinking here just a sec. So I think we're going to see a squall line develop around Mount Pleasant, Grand Rapids, starting in Traverse City and heading southwest with a northeasterly flow headed this way. So this quick change in direction could cause a lot of spin up tornadoes because we're already seeing a lot of hail cores starting to spin up here. You know, there could most definitely be enough rotation in the atmosphere here. So if I pull up the Cape, which is convective potential energy, which I'll talk more about Cape in just a sec here. But as you can see, these reddish oranges, purples kind of over here, lot of curvature, not a lot, but enough to cause maybe even a couple tornadoes. Right now we're under 2% tor. I'll be up till around 2:30. As soon as the day one comes out, I'm going to bed, and I might be going live tomorrow, depending on the severe risk. Wouldn't be surprised if we could get an update from a slight risk to an enhanced risk. So we definitely still need to keep an eye on this. I mean, look how much potential energy there is here. There is definitely enough for discrete cells to form 2-inch hail, 70-mile-per-hour wind speeds. There's a lot of stuff ding 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 indicating possibly a higher end severe risk here. I mean, look at the updraft list of these. This is just hail and tornadoes basically. So this is again the most recent model. So I'll give an update tomorrow morning if this is continuing because we need to see. This is 3 o'clock as you can see here. So daytime heating has almost maxed out. So we're still increasing in temperature here. Yeah, look at that. Temps all the way near 90 here, maybe flirting with the 90s here, really. Up in the thumb, I'd say it's the least likely area to have severe weather development, like up there. Um, but I wouldn't be surprised if we could get a lake enhanced, uh, you know, gust front to move through there. Here's wind speeds already going up to 60 miles per hour and increasing along this line, even a couple of, this is definitely going to be a very strong storm system, it's seeming like here. Here, we're even gonna pull out some new models. So, as you can see, here's the whole Midwest here. Pretty much the same thing as you can see down here in Southeast Michigan, or click here. It really depends on the dew point here, but I definitely think we're gonna see a lot of strong, you know, severe storms move through the area. Now, as you can see, like, I can tell what is a supercell and what's not. So I'd say that could be a supercell there, an embedded one, head the line there. And look how they trail northeastward as that quick southwestern motion kicks in Michigan. So that could cause, again, spin up tornadoes. Now, here's the blend of models. Let's look at the chance for thunderstorms. Yeah, look at that. And this has been even increasing here. 70s, 60%. So I'd say these would be the highlighted areas for possibly the best weather, severe weather development. I think we could see an enhanced risk possibly develop here. We're still waiting for more updates on that because as new things come out, we get more info, blah, 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 blah. So let's move on to Radar Omega and map out what I think could be the potential here. Alright, as you can see here, we do have a slight risk for the following areas here. So as you can see, we do very well, in fact, have a slight risk for the. Sorry, I can't get the weather models to work on here. I might have to restart my computer, but I just don't really feel like it because I'm in the middle of the video. It's a little too late to back down now. So areas that could get upgraded to an enhanced risk, I think, could be these areas for discrete cell development, possibly. These areas could also possibly be upgraded to an enhanced risk. These are the areas I'm really watching here. Are the areas around there. Now again, I'm not the National Weather Service. I could be just overdoing this or not. You know? But we do in fact have a 2% tornado risk throughout this region here, pretty much. That's the general overview. So 2% TOR. We're going to write that down there. So if you are in the 2% TOR, sorry for that, you have a chance for possibly tornadoes. Areas I think would have the greatest threat would be the discrete cell development area, possibly ahead of a squall line here. Discrete cells possibly around here as well could also possibly be upgraded to a 5%. Now, according to the NATOcast, this would be the greatest region right here with a 3% TOR around these areas. So, again, we need to keep an eye on this region here for discrete cell development. This is the most watched area for that matter. High winds seem to be the main threat for this entire risk area here. So if you are in the slight risk, you have a hail threat. Areas I think could see an upgrade would be these areas again, because I'm seeing a lot of weather models really hatching on to that, possibly high winds up to 70 miles per hour. So we really need to watch that. I'll give a morning update, and I'll look at all the weather models because we've just recently had the lowest and most detailed models just coming in tonight, and they're only coming here. So where I think first storm development will be around the Traverse City area. So these storms will be pushing this way. I think we will see a low pressure system hanging around up here. A warm front will be swinging through the area. So, sorry, I'm just going to keep on changing colors here. So, warm air and rising dew points will be scattering throughout the region, headed northeast. And this is why I think we could see an upgrade in the tornado potential. It's really depending on the this really depends on the potential for um, the low level jet. I think would be the thing that really needs to be watched. If that lower level jet gets high enough here, we could get potentially some tornadoes developing through these regions. So 90-degree temperatures would be scattering the region here. Now, dew points would be the main concern to stop storm development, but I do think they're going to reach around the I-69 line here. Would be uh, all these areas I think would have the highest amount of dew points here. So dew points could be up to 70 degrees. Headed up this way, and we get around 75 to 70 here. Again, I'm not the National Weather Service. I'm just making a general statement here of what I think is possible. So, again, there could be potential for strong to severe storms in all of these areas. Like, we really need to keep watch of that. So, severe storms will develop here. And then during the 3 o'clock peak heating time frame, they will probably reach around the Saginaw Valley over this way. So squall line could develop over here, and that is when we're going to get those discrete cells with possible tornadoes developing along, just all of this. I'm getting a little messy here. We're going to erase this. So I think a squall line should develop over here. Now, like every other event. So, what again, like there will be a northeasterly flow, a southwest here. So basically, winds are going to go in opposite directions here. So think of this here. So you see this, right? So if we take that and we put it, we're just drawing over here. The storms aren't over here, like that, right? And watch. If we have that northeasterly flow like that, that's where we could see potentially a tornado spin up because of the sudden change in wind directions. Winds could go in opposite wind speeds, and there is a good amount of wind shear in the atmosphere. So that makes, again, the tornado risk very much there. But I think we could see a higher risk for hail in the strongest discrete cells here. Now, we do have an enhanced risk over here, but it's Oklahoma. It's a pretty average day over there. So areas that could get upgraded would be the areas for discrete cell development. Now, what I think will happen is we're gonna have to wait till the early morning. We're gonna have to wait till early morning to have more updates. Have a full understanding of this event. If it could be if it's just a squall line, we're gonna stay slight risk. But if we see a lot more supercells, then that's when we could see the upgrade for an enhanced risk. So as you can see, supercell development could be around here. Possible for these areas too, but it's Kentucky. It's pretty much also pretty common there too. So let's move on to things like NATOcast and all that. So the final segments of the video. Alright, here is something I like to call the NATOcast, because that is exactly what it's called. Now this kind of is I think it's in the middle of a run here. Yep, so we're going to have to move back a day. So right now it's in the middle of making a run right now for tomorrow. So as you can see, it is hinting toward potentially tornadic development around the Detroit area there. That right now seems like what the NATOcast is pointing toward for supercell development. This is the wind cast. Ooh, that is not for tomorrow. That is active right now, but it's practically ending. I'm trying to find the So the wind cast pretty much on point to what we're thinking here, but there's also this. Oh my gosh, it just doesn't want to work, I guess. So we're just taking a look here. Now, this is over exaggerated in my opinion. This is uh don't expect the moderate risk here. All right? Don't. Please don't take this. Take NATO cast with a grain of salt. It's just something I like to use to guide me toward, stuff. A helper, not someone not a thing to rely on. It's very weird. What I think it's best at is, tornadoes. Now, we're going to look at the tornado, and then I'm going to talk to you guys about something I talked about with my dad, which is how to explain CAPE. What is CAPE? Alright? You hear me talk about it all the time, right? CAPE this, CAPE that. What is CAPE? What is it? And why, when it's a higher level, we're like, strong storm development? Well, I'm going to show you right now. Alright, so you can end the video now if you want, but if you want an explanation of what CAPE is, I'm going to talk to you about it right now. And I think this is a really good explanation on it. So, let's say this is your atmosphere. Alright, you see this? This is your atmosphere, right? This is your Earth. Think of this water as the top of your atmosphere, right? Now, say you had this yellow ball. See this? Alright, let's say you had that, right? What if we took that ball and put it into your water? The water is your atmosphere, right? So, doing that, let's say we push it to around here, right? Your hand is this. I'm not the best drawer, so bear with me. There is my horrible representation of a hand. It looks more like an arm. Now, let's say you have this ball, right? The hand is what we call the capping. Alright? The ball cannot pass this. It can't explode up because there's something in the way, keeping it from exploding. But, let's say your hand all of a sudden is gone, right? Guess what that ball's gonna do? So, CAPE, think of it as available energy, right? Not kinetic, right? Like potential energy, which CAPE literally stands for convective available potential energy, right? This ball is going to shoot upward, right? The ball is going to shoot upward, head out of the water, and in our atmosphere, in the real world, let's say this is our real world here, right? Which would be a cloud going from a little cumulus. So that ball right there is a little cumulus cloud. And as soon as it reaches that breaking point, it's going to explode into a giant anvil, right? So that is your giant anvil. There's your inflow. It's becoming a supercell. You know, it's that's basically what's going on here. And let's say you push the ball really far. So let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow we could witness 3,000, 2,000 CAPE. So let's say that's around here because it's a really good amount of CAPE. That ball is going to have a lot more energy as soon as it breaks that cap, right? It's gonna the more it's pushed down, the more energy it's sitting there waiting to explode like a rocket, right? A massive rocket ready for liftoff. So that is your cumulus cloud, right? It is going to shoot up, right? it is going to, and on the real world, it's going to look something like this. So this is your ground. This is Earth. This is my little plot of land here. That is the cumulus cloud, and it's going to literally explode. And that is why we're looking out for potentially strong storms tomorrow. Because there's going to be all that potential energy ready for liftoff. So any discrete cells could be supercells. And there's extra things like shear, which is opposite directions of wind, causing that spin in the atmosphere. There's that inflow. And it is, and with that high in the air, uh, wind speeds. So basically, this will be some large wind speeds, right? Upper air winds are extremely high. Now, with this hail, this is why we could have a chance for some good hail tomorrow, which is higher than a tornado threat, I would say tomorrow, is it's going to ride that updraft and it's going to hit those varying wind speeds and it's going to start rotating, right? Now, that's with extra steps, all right? But overall, for tornadoes to form, you also need, so the wind speed that way, wind speed this way, and then you definitely need wind speed at the ground, right? And that is how you get tornadoes. And that's why we're watching tomorrow, is because everything's there. We're going to watch the lower level jet, and if the lower level jet is strong enough here, we could see a few, maybe not even just short lived, but possibly longer tracked tornadoes that could last a while ish. But I don't know if we're going to see anything strong right now. I don't suspect so. Now, thing about squall lines, though, squall lines is just this, okay? Think of this. It is a giant wall of wind coming straight at you. So it's only going to basically go one direction, which is toward you. You see that shelf cloud, right? So it's going to be basically just pushing toward you here when that final squall line hits with 70 to 60 mile per hour wind speeds. So that's all I have to say. This is a longer video, but I hope everyone is good tomorrow, and I'll make an extra video tomorrow morning, very quick and just a video talking about what we're gonna expect. Maybe an update with the SBC if we're gonna get an upgrade or not. You know, but tomorrow we could see some strong storms, tornadoes possible, and wind and hail also on the threat. So yeah, everyone have a great evening. Bye.